Welcome back to another episode of We Don't Know What to Watch, the podcast where two guys watch random movies and then talk about them, all thanks to the almighty algorithm. All hail the algorithm. And with me, as always, is the amazing, the incredible, the Robert Eggers to my Ari Aster, Kyle Mulford. How you doing, Kyle?
Hailing the algorithm is apropos for this film today.
At this point, yep, and just like the algorithm says, once you're too old, you will be sacrificed so the young ones can survive.
And this podcast is brought to you by Pubesberry Pies, because we are the ingredient that will make you love us.
That's true. That's a good one. Pubesberry pies and vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin.
What we watch? Speaking of pubes and cults,
Well, we watched, and speaking of Ari Aster, we watched Midsommar, starring Florence Pugh and other people.
hey, and Jack Rayner from What Richard Did. See our past catalog.
Well, no wonder I didn't like him.
Hey, I will always defend Jack Rayner because I love Sing Street, and he's
That's okay.
amazing in that film.
Also, Jack Rayner does sound like an action hero name.
I know, right? And I don't think he was in Free Fire, which I didn't care for that movie that much. No, this is Ari Aster's second film after Hereditary, which I liked until the crazy ass ending.
I never saw Hereditary, so that's on me.
This movie, so yeah, we had like you said, Florence Pugh and Jack Rayner, and also Will Poulter.
And William Jackson Harper, a.k.a. Chidi from The Good Place.
Yeah, I was going to mention him. Yeah, I've only seen a few episodes of Good Place. My wife loved that show, and she's been asking me to watch that one, so I need to finish that up.
The Good Place is one of my all-time favorites.
But yeah, this is this movie. Why don't you give the snowball pitch, if you will?
All right, so what if we took The Wicker Man and then added ladies and put it in Sweden instead of Scotland and made it too long?
All right, so there you go. There you have it, folks. That's Midsommar, as the director pronounced it in an interview I saw.
Yeah.
This is a movie that he wrote after a breakup, because this movie is a breakup movie.
Oh, so it's like the Taylor Swift album of movies.
It is.
And maybe this is his folklore.
Maybe.
Or no, it's probably more his reputation.
I get it's too long. I do enjoy this movie, though. I think it's interesting. I think it's creepy and eerie, kind of like The Wicker Man, which may be a hint as to what I might be recommending later. Yeah, you've got Florence Pugh in this relationship, this kind of just a terrible relationship with Jack Rayner. She's really codependent, and he is really a really wishy-washy PhD student who wants to break up with her, but doesn't know how. I don't know if it seems like he doesn't know how or doesn't want to, because he even says in the movie at one point, well, what if I want to get back to her together with her and it was a mistake or whatever? So it's almost like I kind of want to just keep her as a girlfriend out of convenience.
Just
I really
get off the fence.
Yeah, so it's kind of like both of them are in this terrible relationship, because she should just leave, because she's got to know that he doesn't care, but she's too codependent. And then he's going to go on this trip with this exchange student and his friends the exchange student came from Sweden, and he's like, oh, I'll take you guys to my little village in Sweden where I grew up, and you'll see a festival that takes place every 90 years. And some weird shit happens there. When they go there, the funny thing is it's one of those where it's like, get the hell out of there right now.
Yeah, get out of there yesterday sort of movie.
Because these people are weird. And the one part where I was like, okay, now I'm like, what are you doing? Is one of the friends, his name is Josh. He's the one played by Chidi.
Yes. He'll be referred to as Chidi from now on.
Yes, and he wants to do his thesis or whatever on different religious cultures like this, where they these pagan type cultures. And they mention the night before they go to bed one night that they're going to do an Atta Stupa the next day. And everybody's like, "What is that?" And they're like, "Well, you'll find out next day." And Josh is like, "Are they really doing that?" Because he knows what it is.
Hmm.
And then when you find out what it is, you're going, "Josh, why the fuck did you not tell everyone to get the hell out of there?"
Yeah, seriously, man, you jerk.
Because it's yeah. So like this whole festival is like every 90 years, this village. It turns out like we got to go heavy into spoilers to talk about this movie. They need to sacrifice 9 people to appease their gods or whatever,
Yep.
and keep their culture thriving. And
For a
they
good
have
harvest, that sort of thing.
yeah, and there is this whole theme with the number 9 also through this whole thing, because it's every 90 years they need to sacrifice 9 people. Every 18 years is a different cycle that they call it, like your first 18 years is your spring, and this summer is 18 through 36, and then you have your fall and winter cycles, and then at the end of your winter when you turn 72, go to you do the Atastupa, which is basically you just throw yourself off a rock and onto another large rock
Yep.
and kill yourself. And that that is a really cringy, hard to watch scene, actually.
Agreed, especially the second guy, because the first one falls down, bounces off a rock, lands on her head, and then she's donezo. But then the second one is this older man, it's an old guy, and he lands on his legs, and his legs are just like destroyed, but he's still alive and in clear pain.
he he
So then
jumps
they,
down toothpick style, like he's like pencil style, like he's like jumping into off a cliff into water.
yeah,
And so they go crush his head with a giant like
giant hammer,
Harley Quinn mallet.
if
uh
only like a watermelon. They go
not
Gallagher.
right. Everybody in the front row, all their white clothes just spattered red.
Yeah,
No, they weren't close enough. But like this is the first time you see in their culture where it's like everybody shares this emotion, where it's like whatever someone is feeling, they kind of share it, and they have these weird moments where like um when someone's crying, everyone's crying. When someone's orgasming, all of the naked women in the room are orgasming.
yeah,
Uh,
that was weird.
yes. So, because there's also this whole thing where because they even talk about in the movie, they mention, well, how do you keep from like inbreeding here? Because you are such an isolated little place, and then you learn, well, one person is always purposely inbred, and they call them the Oracle, and they kind of like write the books about the culture, and it's like there's this deformed guy from inbreeding that
His
they
name
kind
is
of keep hidden
Ruben.
away. Ruben, that they keep hidden away. And then but then you find out that they bring in outsiders to have sex with people. But then it's they have this weird love potion thing where they put a rune under the person's bed, and then they put pubes in their pie and menstrual blood in their drink. And that scene at the dinner table, I was like, buddy, do you not notice your drink is a lot redder than everyone else's drink? I'm like, you're not asking questions about why your drink looks different than everyone
Oh,
else's
I
drink.
didn't even notice that part.
um, but there's a lot of interesting things. I do like Ari Aster as a director, and I think he's got a vision for what he's doing. And he puts a lot of thought into his films, because even though this one does stretch a little too long, there is a lot of stuff that's like put in, like the opening tapestry when the movie opens is basically tells the whole movie. It's kind of like a Mission Impossible movie, or where you see the entire movie in the opening credits. But then
Those are
there's like,
fun.
yeah, yes, those movies are fun. But then there's like pictures on walls and stuff. I guess like on Florence Pugh's bedroom wall back in the States, there's a picture of a bear and a woman in a crown, and that's it's an actual picture too, I think, is the thing. So and then that's indicative of the end of the movie. And then there's a lot of murals in the movie, and they kind of show what you're going to see in the film.
All right, so now can I talk about this? So, in this movie, it takes mostly in like this clearing in like this isolated village in rural Sweden or whatever. And Swedish people are rather pale. Scandinavian people are rather pale. I am rather pale, so I feel free to talk about this. How are these people who live here not sunburnt or dead from skin cancer all the time. Because if they're going for like this more ruralistic, I guess, kind of Amish style lifestyle, where I assume they wouldn't use any sort of sunscreen. But oh my god, how they should just be redder as lobsters the entire time. Not a single person was sunburnt. No one was peeling. I do not. That bothered me the entire movie. It almost kind of took me out of the movie. The fact that they are so pale and not sunburned. And when the woman specifically said this is supposed to be one of the hottest summers on record, so just I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Maybe it's their inbreeding.
That would just make
I
them
don't know
worse.
because you got to wonder if there are cultures like this in some of those places that like are pale skinned and but are outside a lot. I don't know. Are there pale skinned people that have adapted to this, or is every pale skinned person on the planet like just going to instantly burn? I don't know. Sweden is full of blonde, super white, pale people. Do Swedish people always stay inside? I don't know.
Well, I assume, I mean, they might have some sort of sun covering, like, umbrellas or something. But no, this entire movie, just people should be like, I would just have, you know what? If I was in a sunny place like this for that amount of time, all day long for 12 days, I just explode and burst into flames.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess yeah, because every scene, like all but like two scenes in this movie were shot in daylight. So
Yeah, so I would just it would be like that one Nazi guy from Raiders of the Lost Ark where my face would just melt off.
face off.
I wish.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they have some magic voodoo spell drink for that too.
Sunscreen runes.
Yes, sunscreen runes.
They
They
spelled out
put them under their
SPF
pillow.
and runes.
SPF. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure how that works.
Also, I
Maybe
wrote in my notes when the guy was hit by the giant hammer, I just said could have had a V8.
or could have had a menstrual blood V8.
I guess. I also wrote, this is boring. I don't like this movie. These people should be burnt to a crisp. Thesis arguing. Oh, that was exciting when they're arguing about who gets to do the actual thesis work, whether it's Christian or Cheaty.
Oh, right. Yes. I thought that like it kind of lost its way was the problem is because it was about this toxic relationship and like these two people, but like that kind of got lost in the cult aspect of it until the very end where it was almost like that codependency she needed from her boyfriend. She's someone who needs someone else and that's the only person she had. So even though it was a terrible relationship, she stayed in it because she was just blinding herself to the fact that it was a
And
terrible
she's
relationship.
terrified of being alone.
But then you get to the end of the movie and she starts like gradually becoming a part of this group, even though she's like freaked out by the things they do. She's realizing, wait, these people are actually like also comforting me though too, and accepting me and all this stuff. And like she becomes codependent with them, and then she becomes the May Queen because she lasts through the whole dance. You know, the last person standing at the dance. And then you get like this ending where she gets to choose the ninth victim for their ritual sacrifice, and she gets to either choose a random person from the crowd that already lived there or Christian, and she chooses him, and then she's all like horrified when they burn the building, but then she slowly gets this smile on her face, and the end. And it was almost like that's kind of disturbing. Her codependency went so far that she's like, "Oh, these people accept me, and I realized how shitty you were to me, so I'll fucking choose you to die."
Also, in another note, he gets put in a he gets put in the skin, like a bear skin.
And I don't know why.
I don't know why either. But also, if you've seen the Nicolas Cage Wicker Man, he puts on a bear skin and he puts on a bear costume and punches people. There
Yeah,
was
so
no
maybe it's just a
punching.
reference to that.
I mean, come on, don't reference a worse movie that's still somehow better.
No, 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 no. The Nicolas Cage. I love Nicolas Cage to death, but the Nicolas Cage Wicker Man, that movie is unwatchable.
But it's more memorable. Also, how does she pee in the flower in the May Queen costume? Is it like a
I
wedding
don't know.
dress where she has to have people help her?
I think so. Or she just waters the flowers.
Hey.
Eh. That's also like this theme of like her gradually becoming a part of this group. Like every time she gets like on the mushrooms or whatever they're drinking, she sees like the nature coming out through her, like the grass coming through her hand and through her feet, and then like her chair, the vines start like moving with her hands, and then she gets like this whole dress made out of flowers, and like the her flower crown is even like breathing this at the same rate she is and everything. It's kind of there are some like real trippy moments in the movie that because they're on a bad trip.
Literally and figuratively.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, I think that it does miss the mark on a lot of spots, but I think that I guess we can go into our final thoughts on the film. It misses a few marks, but I think it's eerie and it could have been cut a little shorter. I agree, but I do appreciate Ari Aster's vision and I would like to see more stuff from him. I think this is his second full-length movie and I don't think he's made another one since. So I don't know if he's working on anything right now,
I think he's
um,
working on something.
but I am interested in him as a filmmaker, and there's I think there's a lot to like in this, but I also understand your complaints, and I get the people that do not like this movie. I totally understand it.
Also, this is an A24 film in the worst sense of the word.
Oh, see, and yeah, and that's the thing. A24, good or bad, it's always interesting.
Yeah. Did you see trailers for that one movie they did called Lamb?
I want to see that one just because it looks so weird.
That one is like when I immediately saw the trailer and the premise started going, I was like, this is dumb.
I do want to see their newest one though. Is Jenny Slate before she became real big used to do shorts on YouTube called Marcel the Shell in Shoes, and it was just talking like documentary style to a little shell that wears
Yeah,
shoes, and he's got like a googly eye, and they're making a feature length film out of it. It looks adorable, and I want to see it.
finally. I forgot about when I saw the poster for that. It's like I forgot about Marcel the Shell from Unlocked a Deep Memory way back when.
Yeah, I think that I saw one way back and completely forgot about it too. And I saw that trailer. I was like, this looks familiar, but I don't know. I think I've seen something like this. And then I looked, I'm like, oh, these were old YouTube shorts. But yeah, so I would recommend Midsommar. It's not a high recommend. Yeah, take it with a grain of salt because it is an A24 feature that does get a little long.
It does feel full of itself.
Yeah, uh, there's a bit of that too. Yes, so I think it's got good and bad, and but just enough good to recommend it. So I'm not giving a strong recommend, but I do think it has just enough good to recommend it.
This is a skip it one for me. If you want to watch a sun drenched horror movie, watch a different one.
All right, so what would you recommend in lieu of this?
Well, I was thinking about this somewhat as a, woman getting back against a terrible boyfriend or a terrible man. So instead, I will thought, hey, why don't we go fun with that premise? And I've got a two for this one. I could go with the 2020 version of The Invisible Man, starring Elizabeth Moss.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Or I thought if you wanted to have a more fun, bit more campy look, had some more comedy in it, then I would go to Jennifer's Body.
I haven't seen that in a long time, so I don't remember much about that one.
It's fun. Megan Fox plays a girl named Jennifer. She's sacrificed so that a random indie band can be good. So then she becomes possessed by a demon and then starts killing boys.
As you
And it's
do.
great. Very much as
Yeah,
like,
I hear a lot of people talking good things about that one, and I saw it when it came out, and I just kind of like I think I liked it when it came out, and I just kind of forgot about it afterwards. So I need to revisit it.
it's a good for her type of movie.
Okay. I'm going with the which I already mentioned earlier in the podcast. I'm going with the obvious choice because this draws heavy influence from the original and the remake of Wicker Man, but I can't stand the remake, so I'm going with the 73 Wicker Man, which I talked on the last podcast about because I rewatched it recently and it's really good and it's shorter and quicker paced than this one. So
Yeah,
if this one doesn't sound great to you, then go straight to the Wicker Man from 1973, and you'll get a lot of similarities with the pagan part of it. Just no boyfriend girlfriend drama in it.
yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm feeling, but I will admit, costume design was great. Apparently, they even sewed like special runes into some of their costumes of the characters, symbolizing different
They
things that they're going to do.
Yeah, they did. There was a lot of thought put into the design of this, and then they also built that whole village. They found like I think it was mostly filmed in Hungary, and they found a clearing that they mowed down the tall grass and they built all the buildings, and so that everything in this, when they get to Sweden, all of those buildings, everything was built specifically for this movie.
That's cool.
So a lot of interesting design, that was another aspect of the movie I liked. I liked the design of the village. I liked the costuming. Yeah, so there was a lot to like about the movie. Just there was some misses in there too, but I think Ari Aster has some promise as a filmmaker. And I mean, people love Hereditary, so I actually loved it all the way up until the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, I just like to imagine. I mean, as far as I'm sure crazy endings go, I it can't be. I'm sure it won't be. I'm sure it won't be nearly as fun as *Malignant*.
No, Malignant. Nothing's nearly as fun as Malignant.
Very true. No, I love that movie so much.
Oh, that was some good stuff. That was
Mhm.
that was 80s horror exploitation film just goodness.
Oh yes, was not expecting it, but in the best sort of way.
All right, so should we move on to what we're watching next here?
I believe so.
All right, we're going 70 or better. Spin the wheel. Okay, let's see if we can get this here. New York fashion designer Melanie Carmichael suddenly finds herself engaged to the city's most eligible bachelor, but her past holds many secrets, including Jake, the redneck husband she married in high school who refuses to divorce her. Bound and determined to end their contentious relationship once and for all, Melanie sneaks back home to Alabama to confront her past.
Oh, okay. So this is like a sweet home of some sort.
It might be a sweet home.
Sweet home Kentucky.
Sweet home, Kentucky.
Yep.
Yes.
She finds all 11 herbs and spices.
Oh no, did we find out the Colonel's secrets?
I knew it. What if that's the secret of Midsummer?
The
KFC is
sacrifices is
people. KFC is people.
KFC is pubes. That's
And
why you
menstrual
love
blood.
us. Menstrual blood and pubes.
That's why it's finger looking good.
Oh no, we got Sweet Home Alabama here. This is on Prime Video, Hulu, Hoopla, Freeform, and Tubi. So, Reese Witherspoon, the Reese Witherspoon classic, Sweet Home Alabama.
I mean, it's no Legally Blonde, but you know.
Will that maybe be one of the recommendations?
I don't know. We're finally getting Legally Blonde 3, so.
Bend and snap.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, next time we'll be talking about Sweet Home, Alabama.
Sweet Home
Till then, you can
Alabama is where she's a professional cleaner and she has to go to Alabama and clean out like an old mansion.
with the banjo on her knee.
Yes.
Oh, that's going to Louisiana, is it? No, going to Alabama with a banjo on me. I don't remember. It's going to one of those southern places with a banjo on your knee. Anyway, you can find us on the Twitter, tweeting away at AwesomeKM.
And I'm at Noah_Saturn. That is spelled SATERN.
And we're on Instagram at We Don't Know What to Watch, and you can email us. We don't know what to watch at gmail.com. Let us know what you thought of Midsommar. And like, subscribe, say good things, say bad things. Whatever.
Don't forget to wear your sunscreen.
Don't forget to, if you're a white pasty person, wear your sunscreen.
Yes. And always put on more after every 2 hours.
And until next time, when you want to get rid of a shitty boyfriend, put him in a bear suit and burn him.
Put him in a bear suit and burn him. Amen.
Pubes Barry Doughboy.
Stop.